The Boondocks warned us about Tyler Perry. Can I be real with you? First Diddy, then Shannon Sharpe, and now Tyler Perry. Some are jokingly calling it the unholy trinity, but the reality is far from funny. Tyler Perry, one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, is facing a $260 million lawsuit accusing him of sexual harassment, assault, and workplace retaliation. The case was filed on Friday, June 13th by actor Derek Dixon, known for his role in Perry's drama, The Oval. The lawsuit claims Perry used his influence to manipulate and coerce Dixon over several years. According to Dixon, things began in 2019 after they met at the grand opening of Tyler Perry Studios. What started as professional quickly turned into personal and disturbing. Dixon alleges Perry sent inappropriate images, invited him to private meetings, and eventually assaulted him. The complaint details incidents from 2020 to 2023, including encounters on Perry's private island and during a pitch for Dixon's own show. He says Perry dangled roles and career opportunities to keep him close. The toll was heavy. Dixon describes struggling with anxiety, depression, and reliance on antidepressants before leaving Atlanta in 2023 to escape Perry's influence. Right now, Perry denies all allegations and has stayed silent. No public comments, no interviews, no posts on social media. But silence does not stop the conversation. And in this case, the court of public opinion is moving faster than the legal system ever could. And if you've been following the headlines, you're probably asking the same questions a lot of people are asking me. Tunes, how does any of this connect back to the Boondocks? Well, that's where things really get interesting. Because as this lawsuit dominates headlines, an infamous episode of the Boondocks is being dragged out of the vault and thrown right back into the spotlight. Let's rewind to June 20th, 2010. Adult Swim aired an episode titled Pause during the show's third season. On the surface, it was a typical Boondocks mix of satire, shock value, and sharp cultural critique. But in hindsight, many fans now see it as something more, possibly prophetic, possibly too close to reality, and definitely one of the boldest swings Aaron Magruder ever took at a cultural giant. The title Pause itself comes from the slang that was popular back then. It was a way to interrupt or qualify a statement that might sound sexually suggestive, often followed by the phrase, "no homo." Today, that language feels dated and cringeworthy, but in 2010, it was a common fixture in hip-hop culture and black spaces. The episode used the phrase not just for laughs, but to dig into deeper issues of toxic masculinity, homophobia, and suppressed identity in the black community. But here's the part that really stung. The episode didn't just play with cultural tropes. It went straight after Tyler Perry. In the episode, we meet Winston Jerome, a world-famous playwright and director. He is a devout Christian. He writes gospel-themed plays filled with melodrama, and he plays a gun-toting sassy grandmother in drag. If that sounds familiar, it should. Winston Jerome was not subtle. He was Tyler Perry with the serial numbers filed off. The parody opens with Huey Freeman explaining the formula of every Winston Jerome play. A beautiful, educated black woman is trapped in a toxic marriage with a dark-skinned, bald man who treats her terribly. Enter the light-skinned gardener who just got out of jail, shirtless of course, but filled with love for Jesus and respect for women. Over time, the woman realizes he is her true soulmate. The dark-skinned husband becomes violent. The light-skinned savior steps in. And the story ends with the redemption through prayer and light-skinned love. If you've ever watched a Tyler Perry film, you already know the blueprint. And that was Magruder's point. These weren't isolated coincidences. They were patterns. Granddad, played by John Witherspoon, is thrilled to audition for Jerome's new play. Madukes finds herself a man. He lands the role, which sets off the real conflict. Because once inside Winston Jerome's world, things take a sharp, disturbing turn. Jerome invites Granddad to his secluded compound, a place that looks less like a production studio and more like a cult. Actors are required to cut ties with their families, pledge loyalty to Jesus, and submit to Jerome's bizarre rules. Jerome himself makes a dramatic entrance on a golden elevator while singing a gospel song called "It's Alright to Cross-Dress for Christ." The absurdity is hilarious, but the undertone is deeply unsettling. Granddad's son finds himself overworked, isolated, and the target of Jerome's unwanted advances. At one point, Jerome insists that Granddad must kiss him during the play's final act. When Granddad hesitates, Jerome applies pressure, blurring the lines between professional obligation and personal exploitation. Why doesn't Granddad just leave? That's the tragedy. He stays because he believes enduring the humiliation might finally bring him fame, money, and even the attention of women he desires. He convinces himself it's worth it, even as the warning signs pile up. The satire escalates into disturbing comedy. Jerome oils Granddad's body in a scene that echoes the excesses of entertainment power structures. When Huey and Riley try to intervene, they're attacked by grown men in oil, leading to one of the most bizarre fight sequences in the show's history. By the climax, Granddad is forced to kiss Jerome on stage in front of a packed audience. The crowd cheers. Jerome beams with victory, and Granddad's dignity crumbles. Afterward, Jerome offers him a film role in exchange for sexual favors. That's when Granddad finally snaps. He realizes the entire empire, Jerome's plays, his cult following, his faith-filled persona was just a front for predatory behavior. On the surface, it's hilarious in that raw Boondocks way, but underneath, it's a sharp critique of power, sexuality, and the masks people wear in black entertainment. When Pause aired, fans immediately recognized who Winston Jerome was meant to represent. The internet lit up with discussion. Tyler Perry's fan base and Boondocks fans clashed online. Some argued it was a brilliant critique, others called it slander. Soon after, Perry's inbox, website, and social media accounts were flooded. People demanded answers. Some even urged Perry to sue Aaron Magruder and Cartoon Network for defamation. Did he? Officially, no. Tyler Perry released a statement denying he planned to sue Magruder, Cartoon Network, or Turner Broadcasting, which at the time also aired Perry's shows on TBS. He also denied rumors that anyone at Turner lost their job because of the episode. But here's where it gets suspicious. Pause aired only twice before it vanished from Adult Swim's rerun schedule. Despite its popularity, it was effectively buried. No explanation was given. Fans speculated that Perry used his influence. Remember, TBS was airing 3 of his shows at the time to pressure the network into pulling the episode. Nothing was ever confirmed, but the whispers never stopped. Years later, in a 2023 interview, Boondocks producer Carl Jones shed more light on the controversy. According to Jones, Perry was furious about the episode, furious enough to allegedly call the network and demand it never air again. Jones also revealed that some of the details in the script may have come from real-life encounters people had at Perry auditions, including prayer circles and other rituals that blur the line between faith and performance. This makes the satire sting even more. It wasn't just a random parody. It was written with details that some insiders recognized, which might explain why Perry believed there was a mole leaking information about him. Whether or not that's true, one thing is clear. Pause was too close for comfort, and the fact that it disappeared so quickly from Adult Swim only added fuel to the theory that Perry's power extended far beyond the stage and screen. Fast forward to today, with Derek Dixon's lawsuit grabbing national headlines. Pause no longer looks like wild satire. To many, it feels like a warning we ignored. The parallels are unsettling. A powerful man, cloaked in faith and success, accused of using his influence to manipulate and exploit. An empire built on a public image of Christian values, hard work, and black empowerment, now shadowed by allegations of abuse. Of course, these are still allegations. Perry has denied everything, and in the United States, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But culture doesn't always wait for verdicts. The conversation is already shifting, and people are revisiting that Boondocks episode with fresh eyes. Was Aaron Magruder just pushing boundaries for laughs? Or was he sounding an alarm years before anyone was ready to hear it? To understand why Pause hit so hard, you have to understand Aaron Magruder. He has never been the kind of creator to play it safe. Long before the Boondocks, he was stirring controversy with his comic strip, taking shots at politicians, celebrities, and even civil rights icons. He mocked Condoleezza Rice, criticized George W. Bush during the height of his presidency, and even visited Cuba in 2003 to meet Fidel Castro, a move that shocked many in the black establishment. His unapologetic leftist politics and willingness to call out hypocrisy made him a cultural lightning rod. So when Magruder and his team decided to parody Tyler Perry, It wasn't for cheap laughs, it was consistent with his entire career. He has always believed satire is a weapon to expose uncomfortable truths, and whether you think Pause was fair or foul, it did exactly that. The resurfacing of Pause raises uncomfortable questions about the entertainment industry. Who gets to control criticism? Can powerful figures silence voices that challenge them? And what happens when art that was once dismissed as parody starts to look like prophecy? Whether or not Derek Dixon's lawsuit holds up in court, the cultural conversation is already shifting. Perry's carefully crafted image as a symbol of black excellence is now under scrutiny. And the Boondocks, a show that thrived on controversy, has once again forced us to confront the gap between public image and private allegations. Maybe Pause was just a cartoon. Maybe it was a satire taken too far. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the kind of art that tries to tell us the truth before we're ready to hear it. And that leaves us with the final question. Were we laughing at a joke in 2010? Or were we ignoring a warning that feels impossible to laugh at today?